Last two segments, do they have a case with Wayne? He researches the cases, brings them to the table. They're either on appeals. The appeals court has already decided. The lower court judge has made a decision or not. And Wayne gives us these cases, and it is a case of first impression for us. We have not heard it or seen it before. Let's go.
Oh, okay. That was the throw
to
me?
Yeah, I didn't.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
I was taking a drink of water. All right, I think you're going to really like the subject matter of this first case. At first, you're not going to know why, and then you'll know why. In Michigan, in their prisons, starting in about 2013, they decided...
There was a lot of sex.
Well, I think that may still be.
Okay.
And was probably before.
Just wondering.
They decided that the way to honor everybody's religious dietary needs is to come up with a single comprehensive diet that meets all the dietary needs of the 28 separate religions that they formally recognize in the prison. So it is a vegan diet because some religions don't allow eating meat or animal products. It is also kosher, this vegan diet.
Okay, and it is.
Now, here are two guys, Jewish prisoners, who file a lawsuit and say, our religion actually requires us on 4 days a year to eat meat. And on another day, on Shavuot, our religion requires us to eat cheesecake. So they file a line. I see the puzzled look on your face.
Cheesecake?
Yes.
And only from Cheesecake Factory.
Well, they didn't specify the source. So they go to court, and the judge puts them both on the stand extensively, talk about your religious beliefs and, why do you believe this and where is it coming from? And they point to something called now I forgot what it's called, but it's like the Book of Jewish Law that was written in 1563. So it's not from biblical times. And it's considered one of the foremost sources if you're trying to answer a question about what Jews should do or not do. So they say, well, if you look at this book of Jewish laws...
Tyler asks, it's not the Kabbalah.
No, it's not. It's not the Kabbalah.
Yeah.
It talks about that you should be lavish with meat and wine and whatever to the extent that you can, that your means. Okay. Anyway, so they talk about it, and the judge is pretty convinced that okay, and they got a rabbi to file an affidavit.
Yeah, of course they did.
Talking about it. So it's called the Code of Jewish Law, which is the English translation of whatever the Hebrew name is, Code of Jewish Law. So the judge is pretty good on the meat thing. I get it. I agree. It's sincerely held. It's legitimate. It's coming from a place. The cheesecake. Let's talk about the cheesecake. Because the Code of Jewish Law talks about dairy, absolutely talks about eating dairy on Shavuot, but it doesn't say cheesecake. And one of these guys goes, I don't really know enough about it to know why it's cheesecake. So then the other guy gets up there and says, well, it's become a custom. And before Michigan changed their rules in the prison, they used to allow private charitable organizations to come in and bring cheesecake for the Jewish prisoners on Shavuot. So it's a long-standing custom that it be cheesecake. Technically, I suppose a glass of milk would be okay, but it is still really tradition that it's cheesecake. And the judge goes, all right, that's good enough for me. And he orders the prison to give them meat on these 4 holidays and cheesecake on Shavuot. So the prison appeals. And here's their side of it. Number 1, we sell kosher meat snack items in the commissary. These guys have money.
Of course.
Look at all
They're
this.
Jews.
Look at all the stuff that they've been buying at the commissary. They've been buying shampoo. They've been buying coffee, which is apparently a big deal in the prison to have coffee. The fact that they don't want to buy the kosher meat snacks, that's not our fault. That's their choice. They say, here's the problem. I mean, we hear what you're saying, but you don't allow us to take snacks from the commissary into the chow hall. And a snack is not enough to be considered a meal. And the Code of Jewish Rules say it must be a meal, right? So they get technical. That's the prison says they could buy the kosher meat.
Right.
And they say, well, but it's doing that doesn't fit.
Got it.
Okay. And then the prison says, look, it's going to cost about $10,000 a year.
Right.
To provide kosher meat to these guys 4 days a year. And that's too much of a burden on us. And the prisoners say, your food budget for this prison is $36 million a year. Another $10,000 really doesn't matter. So what does the appeals court say? Do they agree with the lower court judge who agreed with the prisoners? Or do they say, no, this is crazy. The prison doesn't have to do this for you?
We're going to have to do that when we come back.
Oh, a tease.
It is a tease. We'll be right back, and I'll give my spin on it with my vast knowledge of Jewish law. Because I was given a scholarship to go to rabbinical school. Did you know that?
No.
I just made that up.
Oh.
All right, we'll come back. Do they have a case with Wayne? We're going to do one topic today because Wayne spent a few minutes talking about it. So let's just really quickly recap.
So if you're just joining us, Michigan's prisons serve the same exact diet to all the religious dietary prisoners. So it covers all 28 religions that they recognize. It's a vegan diet. And 2 Jewish prisoners sued and said that according to this book that was written in the 1500s called the Code of Jewish Law, they are required to eat meat on 4 days, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and the Sabbath. So also 1 day every week. And that on Shavuot, they have to eat cheesecake. And a lower judge agreed with them and ordered the prison to do it. And they appealed, saying this is BS, basically, and also it will cost us an extra $10,000 a year out of a food budget for the prison of $36 million. So, did the appeals court agree with the lower judge, or
I say
that it was a bunch of mishigas?
I think it's a bunch of mishigas, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I think they're right on the $10,000. That's de minimis. That's nothing when it comes to the budget. But the problem is that kosher food has to be brought in from the outside. They can't cook kosher food in the prison. So they have to go to a kosher restaurant or deli and bring it in, because otherwise, if you're really kosher, you can't cook on non-kosher pots and pans, etc. But this book that was written in the 1500s, I've never heard of it. You've never heard of it. It's not the Torah. It's not the Talmud. It's nothing that's recognized as legitimate Jewish law. And so...
well, depending on what level of Jew you are, I guess. In other words, for some Jews, apparently, it's considered an authoritative text.
I don't think that it is with the appeals court. That's my guess. And by the way, you pointed something out, is that they serve kosher snacks with meat in there. And these plaintiffs are saying that's not enough. We need full meals.
A snack is not a meal. That's literally their argument. They can buy a kosher meat snack in the commissary, but that's not a meal. And also, they wouldn't be allowed to take it with them into the chow hall to have with a meal. So they're saying the edict that you eat a meal with meat, buying a Slim Jim that I have to eat in the hallway doesn't count.
Well, or in your cell, or wherever.
Wherever you're going to eat.
I think that these guys have gone a step too far. That's my opinion. If you put all the facts together, first of all, just the basis of the decision, the religious view on that is a crock. That's for starters, because I can show you anything by anybody, even written in you can go Nostradamus said, and therefore, look. So I'm going to say no, that the prison is in fact prevailing here.
The prisoners prevail 100%.
Guy, you got me.
Even with the part
of the cheesecake,
where on Shavuot it has to be cheesecake, even though the Code of Jewish Law simply talks about dairy. They admitted that a glass of milk would be minimally okay to satisfy it, but the tradition has been cheesecake.
I got news for you. I have been in plenty kosher homes.
Mm-hmm.
Cheesecake is not on the menu. They don't have cheesecake. It's just not there. And as far as the meat part, I mean, I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. This is one of those where it's such a squirrely decision by the appeals court. It just makes no sense. So they get meat, right? 4 times a year. Once a week.
Well, they get meat on the Sabbath, and then on those 3 holidays, and then on Shavuot.
And does it specify?
Bring in
and
cheesecake.
does it specify what kind of meat?
No,
what cut it is?
No.
Oh.
It can be any. It can be fish even.
Oh,
it can be
see,
fish,
I thought
it can be chicken. It could be beef. But they already said what they're going to do. It's going to be turkey. They're going to get turkey.
I would have thought like a fillet.
No, I don't think the Code of Jewish Law goes that
fillet.
far. I think the reason this happened is because the courts do not want to get into, we as judges decide what is legitimately religious. Here's this text. It does exist. Here's a rabbi who filed an affidavit.
Yeah, but you can get a rabbi. You can get any rabbi to say that.
You can get any expert. You like to talk about the barking seal.
Right, of course.
Experts who will say whatever. The point is the judges, I think, don't want to get into saying a rabbi has sworn under penalty of perjury that this actual text requires this. We are not going to point a finger at a rabbi and say, you're being ridiculous about your own religion.
Keep in mind that opens it wide open now for 27 other religions to say and come up with some kind of a text to say, this is what our religion demands, and the person has to do it.
Prisoners should be finding religious leaders within their religion to start writing those books now, if they don't exist already, to support whatever they might want in prison.
More exercise, anything you can ask for according to this court. Okay. Well, you got me on that one. But then again, that was so squirrely. I'm not even going to give myself a ding on that. I just refuse. No, thank you. I wasn't wrong. That's all. All right. That's it. We're done, guys. Coming up tomorrow, we've got plenty more. Chris Little is not here tomorrow. Jennifer comes back tomorrow. We've been missing her. This is KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.